pleasure and honor to be hosting a very, very important guest on this program as usual. His name is, he's going to introduce himself the way he wants, but I know that he is Mr. Mushosho. Mr. Mushosho, J.K. Is that how you want people to know you, Mr. Mushosho?
I think I can be comfortable with that name.
Yeah, you Mr. J.K.
Yes.
Mushosho.
Yes.
What does J stand for?
J stands for Jonas.
Jonas. And
Yes.
K?
Kudakwashi.
Jonas Kodagwashi Mushosho.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks very much. I have brought you to this program Head to Head. It's an educational program where I often bring to discussion and debate some pertinent issue, particularly to do with education. And it's my honor and privilege to welcome you tonight, Mr. Mushosho, to this program.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to be here.
1 minute. I'll give you 1 minute to give us your history. Who is J.K. Mushosho? Where are you coming from? And where are you? Don't tell us where you're going. Yeah.
Well, simply put, J.K. Mushosho is a young author, currently a student at the National University of Science and Technology in my 4th year, and I am 23 years old. So
23 is very tender. Great.
Yes,
but you're already an author.
Yes.
What are you studying at university?
I'm studying civil and water engineering.
Civil and water engineering.
Yes.
These are the people we want. And please, when you complete your degree, don't leave Zimbabwe. We need people like that.
I'm here to stay.
I'll follow up. So, thank you very much. Welcome to this program. You have written this wonderful little book called the G40 Handbook. The G40 Handbook tonight on Head to Head with MM. And the first thing that I want the author to do is to make sure that you don't develop any hiccups about the title, the G40 Handbook. Mr. Mushosho, why did you call your book G40 Handbook?
Well, Morris, let me say maybe I'm just trying to be a little bit naughty.
Yes.
Yeah. The G40 Handbook is a basic antidote to the intergenerational conflict. And so the token G40 is just metaphorically appropriate to...
There's nothing serious about G40. It's metaphorical,
Yes.
Purely metaphorical. It's a very clean topic. You are simply handling an issue about intergenerational problems and issues.
Yes, it's a generational gap issue.
Yeah, but even the political one was intergenerational, wasn't it?
Yeah, in some sense it was generational, although in the book I don't dwell on the political aspects.
Not at all.
Yes.
Not at all. Yes. Thank you very much. So tell us, why did you decide to sit and write such a wonderful little book?
Well, Maurice, in my interactions with quite a number of people around the country, and also as I've been seeing the news and just watching what's been going on all over the world, I've been noticing a lingering elephant in the room, which seems not to have been addressed, or which people seem not to want to address, probably because they might not have a solution for it. And that lingering elephant in the room is what I've come to term the generational gap.
Generational gap.
It's basically a difference in worldviews between the younger generation and the older generation.
Great.
Yes.
At 23, what do you think you would understand about intergenerational conflict? What do you think you would understand?
Well, I think my understanding of that gap is I am also one of the parties that are contributing to the conflict. And so I have an understanding of a constant battle that has been going on between generations. And it's basically a fight of ideas and a fight of worldviews. And so I have an understanding of that gap because my colleagues and my age mates are trying to put up their ideas which are constantly finding a blockade in relation to
an impasse.
Yes, in relation to the kind of way of living that is already there or that has already been prescribed by the generation that is above them.
In short, J.K. Mushosho sits down to write a book, to pen a book, because he has noticed a problem.
Yes.
And that problem is ideas and worldviews coming into conflict.
Yes.
Brilliant, brilliant. Obviously, that is a big problem, and that is why I invited you, young as you are, If you were 60 or 70, maybe I would not have invited you. But I want to hear your views as a young man about intergenerational conflict. And before we go ahead in our English language and so forth and so on, can I ask you, I'm sure you speak fluent Shona.
Yes.
Ye, tikuda kunzwa nokuti musoro wenyaya uri panapa wakakosha tirege kusiya vamwe vanhu out of this program because of language. Tirege kuvasiya. Chikonzero chakaita kuti mugare pasi vamushosho and leave your books aside to write this book here. Chikonzero ndechechi tsanangurirai vateereri iko zvinezvi vose vatana vakuru, our elders nevana vadiki, zviko zviri mubhuku. Chikonzero ndechei?
Chakaita kuti ndigare pasi ndichiedza kuongorora nyaya iyi yekusiyana kwemafungiro pakati pevechidiki nevanhu vakuru o vatana. Inyaya yekuti mukutenderera kwandanga ndichiita nemukutaura nevanhu vakasiyana siyana, ndakanga ndichisangana nenyaya yanga ichingoramba ichingonetsa yekuti mafungiro evechidiki anga achisiyana nevechikuru. Maitiro evechidiki zvavaida kuita kuti vakwanise kuwana zvavanoda kubva muupenyu zvanga zvichiramba zvichisiyana nezvizvo zvavakadzidziswa nevechikuru. Naizvozvo panga pachizoita bongozozo nenyaya yekusiyana kwepfungwa idzi ranga richizokonzeresa kuti pange paive nekukakavadzana kwakangosangana kubva kuvakuru uye nekubvawo kuvadiki.
I think that is obviously a very, very brilliant observation and a very accurate one. It's now a war between elders and those of a younger generation. It's now a war. Perhaps it started off as a small crack, which developed into, if you like, a valley. But now it is a gorge, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Now,
it's
before we
so
start
bad.
serious discussion on your book,
Yes.
how bad do you think this situation, the generational conflict is between elders and youths? How bad is it?
I feel if it is left as it is, it could go even to the extent of some form of apocalypse. Because when conflict is rife, there cannot be development. And so the constant struggles and the constant battles, I feel, are taking us away from the important things that we need for us to be able to get what we want from life as citizens. And so if we leave it just like it is for any time longer, it's going to be something in the form of an apocalypse, and it's going to be devastating.
All right. Now, let's start discussing your book, the G40. Let's start. What do you think is the most important part of this book?
Well, I think
obviously all of it is very important.
Definitely,
But
yes.
let's start at its heart.
Well, so the basic lesson that I try to derive from this book and that I try to give out to everyone else to be able to understand is the fundamental basis of how to live your life. So the primary cognitive problem...
You have only lived that life you're talking about 23 years.
Yes, I've only lived it 23 years.
But you have lived it long enough to be able to tell even the 70-year-old ones how to do it.
Well, you can be a very old young person if you are experienced on how life works. And so I believe even a 12-year-old that has learned business from 12 years can be a better businessman at 21 than a 50-year-old.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. And that is why I invited you to Diamond FM Radio and to Head, to prove exactly what you were saying. What does a 23-year-old author have to say to Madara about kusiyana kwemafungiro, kusiyana kwezvido nemaitiro and so forth and so on? So begin there. I'm sure the listeners are ready to hear your wisdom.
So the primary problem is that young people, or in general people, aim to have a perception of the world so that they can be able to get what they want from life. And everyone has a constant why and how matrix of why the world is the way it is, and how they can be able to progress in such a world. And so each and every day people are trying to get an understanding of that world so that they can get meaning and value for their lives. And when they have meaning and value for their lives, they can be able to live every day of their lives knowing that I have something worth waking up to do the next day.
And not only living, but living meaningfully.
Living meaningfully, definitely, yes.
What are some of the challenges or problems that you cite in your G40 book, handbook, which is an antidote, you say,
Yes.
antidote for intergenerational conflict? What are some of these areas of conflict?
Well, so the fundamental analysis needs to start from understanding the way young people think these days. That's the nature of young people. And so when you look at the young generation of today, they have a different expression of their freedoms. They have a different expression of what they call love. They have a different expression of their hopes and an understanding of how the world should be lived. And so this generation has a genuine distrust of organized systems of religion and structures of authority. And so stemming from that, in now moving to prescribed ways of doing things, which are coming as forms of or structures of authority, to them it becomes a problem, because when they now try to apply what the structure tells them with their genuine distrust and lack of confidence in the structure, it does not yield the results that it's supposed to yield for them. And so they begin to feel that the structure does not work, or they begin to think that...
From your observation, who is driving these illustrations? These instructions, who is driving them and who is resisting?
Well, I see that there is a way of doing things that people have gotten used to. Some of it is cultural, some of it is just the norms of a society. And these are being propagated by the generation that has been there before, the generation that understands those norms, because those were their ways of living as they were growing up.
So they are driving these values, these virtues, prescribe them to the younger generation.
Yes.
And the younger generation are resisting.
The younger generation have no understanding of why these things are valued the way they are valued.
Mr. Mushosho, can you give us one, just one, not two? I hope that's not a big burden.